Hey everyone, it's Paul with your Tuesday Bold Profits. So this week I have to start with something that's a little bit unpleasant, which is that I received actually a number of communications from people saying that there are a number of bots, spammers, scamsters that are using my name, using my image, using the name of Profits Unlimited, which is my flagship newsletter, to try and get folks to send them money. And so I want to start this video by making one thing clear, which is that you should never send money to anybody claiming to be me, anybody claiming to represent me, anybody claiming to be part of my team, claiming to represent our team, because we have a newsletter to sell you. We never manage money. We are not money managers. And so we are never going to ask you to send us money. We sell subscriptions to our newsletters. That's the way we make our money. And so anytime you see comments in the YouTube channel, on Twitter, on Facebook, on any form of social media, anywhere on the internet, you will know that anyone asking you for money is trying to scam you, is a fraud, is trying to trick you, and it is something that you should absolutely and completely avoid. The only thing that we have to offer you is subscriptions to our newsletter, and that's the only way by which we will ever ask you for any kind of payment, and that is going to be by a credit card. All of our newsletter subscriptions require that you pay for it with a credit card. So anyone asking you to wire money, send them Bitcoin, anything like that is going to be a fraud, a scam, and something that I please ask you to avoid. And it is something that we are trying to keep track of. However, if you can look at the comments around any of our videos immediately after I post it, you will see that the spam bots come immediately, and they are able to take my picture, use my name, and very realistically try and converse with you. So please avoid engaging in any kind of conversation with something that seems too good to be true, something that seems that it's so easy. In other words, sending money to anybody based on a casual chat, completely not okay. And certainly if it's got my picture, my name, anything, I have nothing to do with any of that. These are people that are using technology to try and trick you and take your money away from you. The only thing that we have to offer is subscriptions to our newsletter. And speaking of which, I want to show you what Profits Unlimited would look like. Okay, so this is printed on a black and white printer, it's obviously printed on paper. You would get this by email in PDF form, and this is our last issue. And generally, each newsletter is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about between 6 and 8 pages long. And this one is recommending a stock on precision medicine, which is one of the mega trends that we cover in Profits Unlimited. And it's got about 4, 5, 6 pages worth of analysis that's in there. And then the rest of the newsletter has a little extra bonus issue in last month on Bitcoin, telling our readers and our subscribers about what to do with respect to Bitcoin. And then there's also a quick portfolio review that's out there. And then we also give you, if you're just beginning, we give you 5 stocks that you can consider buying into if you're just starting out with our newsletter, 5 stocks to consider. And finally is a portfolio review of all the stocks that are currently live. In other words, everything that is currently in our model portfolio that is still considered a buy. So that's what a newsletter would look like. And I'm going into this because of the fact that many folks still believe that we manage money, and we do not manage money in any way, shape, or form. In fact, we are not financial advisors. What we do is publish ideas in a form like this. I'm showing you the paper form of it. However, it would come in a PDF documents, and other of our services come as emails, where we will put out our ideas and send it to you by email, and then it is your choice to act on it. And since for this issue, I'm answering some of questions, if you will, concerns, if you will, that have come up as a result of the YouTube channel, as a result of social media, I'm going to dedicate the rest of this Bull Profits to actually answer a couple of questions that have come over various periods of time at me. And so this is something that I'm going to try and do from time to time. One of the questions that has come at me is lots of people have written and said, Paul, I lack the money to actually invest. I have the money to buy your newsletter. And for those of you who are interested in Profits Unlimited, which is the flagship newsletter, I'm just trying to get myself together here, Profits Unlimited. Go to profitsunlimited.com and that will allow you to buy a subscription for, I believe it's $48, profitsunlimited.com. I'll get you into that particular subscription. Anyway, getting back to the question, people say, Paul, I have the money to buy Profits Unlimited. However, I lack the funds to actually invest because all my savings is in a 401k. What can I do? Now, this is of zero help to me. However, I'm going to answer it because most 401k accounts are things where you are limited to the kinds of funds, kinds of things that you can do in a 401k. And so for most people, they are unable to buy individual stocks, even though many 401k plans do actually include an option where you can actually control your own investments. In other words, buy your own stocks if you want. However, many lack that. And for many, it's a very complicated way to get it out. You may have to consult with your human resources division. So many people have asked me, said, Paul, I believe in America 2.0. I believe that the fourth industrial revolution is going on. And I believe in these megatrends. However, there's nothing I can do. I'm locked into XYZ life cycle fund, XYZ index fund. Is there anything that I can do to get greater exposure to America 2.0, to the fourth industrial revolution, to the new world? So the one thing that I will say is that most 401k plans usually have an array of funds. And if you go through it and you look for funds that say they invest in small cap, in other words, much smaller companies, those are more likely to be fourth industrial revolution companies, America 2.0 companies. Also, oftentimes, many of the technology funds are also more invested into America 2.0 and the fourth industrial revolution. And you can say the same things for mid-cap funds as well. Mid-cap generally refers to companies that are a lot smaller than, say, Apple, which today is valued at nearly $2.2 trillion. So they might be worth in the hundreds of billions of dollars, which in today's world is somewhere in the middle. And small cap is sort of things that might be under 3 billion or so, all the way down to 100 or 200 million. And those areas of the stock market is really where you see the vast majority of America 2.0 companies, vast majority of fourth industrial revolution companies that are really growing very quickly and that you want exposure to. So this is not financial advice. I'm simply answering a question that I've gotten from people who say all of the money that I could have used to invest in things like America 2.0 and the fourth industrial revolution is locked up in my 401k. What are the options if you are in that position? Well, one of the things that you can do is you can buy into funds that have more small companies in it, funds that have more mid-cap companies in it, skew your investments towards the technology side, towards the healthcare side for now. And then over time, what you will see is that pretty much every sector of our economy is going to be America 2.0ized. In other words, we are going to have a new way of doing things across the board. However, for now, you can definitely get more exposure by being in certain areas over other areas because of the fact that if you look at something like energy, it's still dominated very much by old carbon-based energy producers and makers. And the newer companies that are based on batteries and solar power are still very small. So right now, the best place still to be is just to think about it from the perspective of these companies are still pretty small or they're in that mid-sized category. And that's the best way that you can get some exposure if you are locked in. The other alternative, of course, if you are willing to take the risk, want to take the time and trouble, is to explore the possibility that your company has the option for you to actively manage your own 401k plan. However, I will say this, which is that it is something that is filled with more risk than whatever your company auto enrolls you for. So it's something that you have to think about before just simply jumping to go do it. Another question that has actually come in this week is a question that's a little bit technical, which is about interest rates. And a number of people have been asking me on Twitter about interest rates and whether or not the recent rise in interest rates means that the bull market in stocks is over. And from my perspective, I believe that that is not the case. And the reason is because interest rates are still at historical lows. They are still very, very low. Yes, they have come off a bottom. Nonetheless, the stock market is not that reactive to interest rates that is going to move as a result of that. Interest rates are still at historical lows. And I believe, and in my judgment and in my opinion, I believe that it is going to stay low for a very long period of time because of the fourth industrial revolution, because of America 2.0, because of these fantastic, amazing, phenomenal megatrends like the Internet of Things, like artificial intelligence, like blockchain, like precision medicine, like new energy, like the coming of new industries based on 3D printing and other technological innovations that are still yet to be really implemented in any kind of scale. My reading of history and the diffusion of technology says that those are deflationary. In other words, you get so much more for every dollar you invest in those types of technologies that those periods tend to be deflationary. And with that, I believe that the Federal Reserve, which sets interest rates in the United States, is going to stay on hold for a long period of time. So I'm unconcerned for now about the rise in interest rates that many people are asking me about. If there is a time when there is a very significant rise in interest rates where it can lead to significant inflation and where the Federal Reserve, which sets interest rates for the United States, is likely to lift interest rates very, very high, that would for sure make me change my mind. However, we are definitively very far away from that. And in my judgment, we're also in a period where, because of technology and innovations, I believe that low interest rates can be sustained for a very long period of time. All right. The other question that I want to deal with that I get asked a lot is why I do this. In other words, many people will ask the question, said, Paul, if you're so good at what you do, why do you choose to do this? And second, why do you choose to share your ideas with other people? And many people will probably scoff at the idea, at my answer at this, which is that from my perspective, I feel like this role, this just job, if you will, of being in our company, we're called editors, newsletter editor, newsletter guru, if you will, whatever you want to call it. This is the best way that I can think of to share a skill that I've developed over 15, 20, 25 years. And for me, that is one way to sort of pay back, pay it forward, if you will, for all the incredible things that this country, its people have done for me. Coming here as a clueless 18-year-old kid that knew nothing and was given a chance by lots of folks that owed me nothing. And many of these things that were done were small little gestures. I can remember, for example, in college one time in the winter where it was so cold, I lacked a car. Truthfully, I lacked actually a proper winter jacket because I had no idea how to protect myself. And I remember someone just stopping and picking me up with my 4 bags of groceries to give me a ride. And those moments were many and frequent. And these were people who had no reason to help me out. And that continued throughout my life, throughout my career. And I have always felt that I owe a debt of gratitude to the folks in this country. And this is one way that I can share what I understand, what I know, my expertise and knowledge. So that's the reason for it. Now, with respect to if I was so good, why would I not keep all these ideas for myself? The truth is that there is no way anyone that has enough ideas can keep all the ideas for themselves. Some folks who have a lot of ideas and are good will choose to start asset management companies and hedge funds and mutual funds and these kinds of things. However, in my judgment, those largely cater to generally wealthy people. And I wanted to do something that really pretty much anyone could afford. Profits Unlimited, which I mentioned earlier, goes for $48, maybe $96. My publisher has different offers at different times, as all publishers do. They have specials at various times. If you're interested, like I said, profitsunlimited.com will give you the details. This is a way where regular people, anyone with something like $50 to $100 a year can access it. And from there, obviously, you need a few things. You do need a brokerage account. You do need some capital. You do need to make some efforts and some time and some trouble to follow along, to actually make the investments, to follow the rules of the game that we use to guide people in terms of how to use Profits Unlimited. So those are some questions that I thought I would answer, since I wanted to make it a priority to actually tell you about the fact that there is clearly a lot of scam, spam, fraud activity that is going on, particularly around our YouTube videos and other places on the internet. There's someone claiming to be part of my fan club that is asking people for money. These are all completely unaffiliated with me, and I would tell you, please never send money to anybody. The only thing we have to offer you are these newsletter subscriptions like the one that I showed you, Profits Unlimited. We have a number of others as well. If you're interested in those, the best place to start is profitsunlimited.com. That is our flagship newsletter, and that will be sort of your first taste of it if you're interested. So that's what I have for this week. If you like the content on this channel, please subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up. Please make sure to avoid the spam bots in the comments below, and they're there pretty much every single week. And for all of our videos, whether it be from my amazing colleague Amber or for the Ian Cast with my incredible colleague Ian Dyer, so please avoid that. And if you hit the bell, it will tell you every time we put up a new comment, and I'll have another Bold Profits with a new idea or something fun, interesting to tell you next week. Until then, this is Paul saying bye.